The Tangerang prison fire was a fire that occurred in an overcrowded prison block in the city of Tangerang, Banten, Indonesia, in Greater Jakarta. The fire began at about 1:45 WIB on the 8th of September 2021 in Sector C of the Tangerang prison, killing 44 inmates and injuring a further 77 people. This was the deadliest fire in Indonesia since the 2017 Tangerang fireworks disaster, which killed at least 49 people. The Indonesian prison system has been overcrowded for years, partially due to stringent laws governing narcotics and a focus on incarceration rather than rehabilitation for those that violate them. Sector C, the affected prison block, held inmates incarcerated for drug-related offenses. The Class 1 prison in Tangerang had a capacity of 600, but was holding more than 2,000 inmates. Sector C had been built to hold 38 inmates, but had held 122 at the time of the fire. The Tangerang prison, officially known as the Tangerang Class 1 Correctional Facility, was constructed in 1972 as a substitute for the Glodok prison, which at that time has been sold to a private company. The prison was inaugurated on 6 December 1982 by the Director General of Prisons. Although the prison was initially intended to incarcerate white-collar criminals, a surge of drug-related crime in 2008 prompted the government to transfer drug-related criminals in to the prison. As of 2016, 60% of inmates in the prison were imprisoned due to drug-related cases. The fire started at 1:45 local time, when a small fire occurred in Sector C2 of the prison. A prison employee, Ian Sofiang, heard screams from inside the sector's cells. Several other wardens and guards tried to evacuate the entire sector, but were only able to evacuate 20 inmates. According to the prison's protocols, the inmates were kept in locked cells, and as the fire spread, the prison employees did not manage to unlock every room. All the deaths occurred in the locked cells. Firefighters were alerted of the disaster shortly after and around 30 fire trucks were deployed. The fire trucks arrived on the scene at 2 o'clock, had the fire under control by around 3 o'clock, and finally extinguished the flames roughly 2 hours after they began. The fire left 44 inmates dead, 8 inmates seriously injured due to burn injuries, and 73 lightly injured. The injured victims were brought to the Setanlah Hospital and the Tangerang Regency General Hospital. The bodies of the dead inmates were brought to the Police Central Hospital for further investigation. Most of the dead inmates were imprisoned for drug-related crimes, while a number of others were imprisoned for terrorism and murder. 2 of the dead inmates were foreigners, one from South Africa and the other from Portugal. All of the injured inmates were convicted for drug-related charges. Multiple Indonesian officials immediately arrived at the scene. Police Chief of Jakarta Inspector General M. Fadi Imran arrived in the morning and deployed around 150 police, mostly BRIMOB members, to secure the prison perimeters. Minister of Law and Human Rights Yasona Loli and Deputy Minister Edward Omar Sharif Haire followed shortly at around 10 a.m. local time. Member of the People's Representative Council Sharifuddin Suding demanded responsibility from Loli in regards to the incident. In response to the demands, Loli formed 5 teams to assist in handling the incident, with each team being responsible for victim identification, victim's funeral, victim's family recovery, coordination of handling, or public relations. Initial investigations by the police indicated that the fire occurred due to a short circuit. The President of Indonesia Joko Widodo, via his spokesperson Fajroel Rahman, delivered his condolences to the victims and stated his expectation that the disaster could be handled with few casualties. Following the accident, Loli announced that the relatives of the victims would be compensated. Each next of kin of the deceased would receive Rp 30 million. Mayor of Tangerang Arif Rachdiono Wismansya announced that the city would provide financial compensation for the relatives of the victims. Coordinates 06 degree 11 feet 12 inches S 106 degrees 38 minutes 25 seconds East, 6.18667 degrees South 106.64028 degrees East, minus 6.18667. 106.64028